My name is David Daniel Ball, and these are the headlines for Monday, the 23rd of March, 2009. 4 charged over deadly airport bikie brawl. Health a priority for new cabinet, says Bly. Rudd takes off to meet Obama. I'm not dishonest. Einfeld apologizes for disgraceful lies. Blame Aussies for Pacific Brand's job cut, says CEO Morfitt. Johnson Ton can't stop Australian defeat in cricket. Obama aide incredibly confident of economic rebound soon. Goody dies of cancer and tributes pour in. Cornelia Rao secretly returned to Australia. Pakistan reinstates Chief Justice. Police seize cars in relation to Auburn shootings. And in comments from Tim Blair, it's on a witness account of yesterday's Sydney airport gang brawl. At first, it looked like someone who was running from a security because they had tried to get through. One woman was waiting in line at the domestic departures area of Terminal 3 just after 1:30 p.m. said. It was like there were 2 gangs or something and they started hitting each other and punching each other in the middle of everyone. Well, they were 2 gangs. Foot footage furor. The crowd at Muslim village responds to a current affairs airing of security camera tape showing Sheikh Taj Din al-Hilali's athletic door kicking. I'd be more concerned with who gave CCTV footage to a current affair and the motives and agenda intentions of that action, says one of the commenters. But the finest line comes from commenter Ahmed K. This honestly is a complete disgrace for the entire community in the sacred and blessed place that is Lakemba Mosque. They can have their power struggle, but please try and keep it behind closed doors. It isn't easy keeping anything behind closed doors at Lakemba Mosque so long as Sheikh Doorbreak is around. Carbon to the rescue. Those 3 freezing warm in a struggle towards North Pole have now received life-saving supplies flown to them in a mighty de Havilland otter. Thanks to ice constantly shifting, it was disheartening, reported Warminist Penn, Haddo, to find that when you've slogged for a day, you can wake up next morning to find you have drifted back to where you started. Last week, down to their last scraps of food, they were only saved in the nick of time by the faithful otter. They were disconcerted to see one of those polar bears threatened with extinction by global warming wandering around, doubtless eyeing them for its dinner. In fact, according to their own account, the Coldy Warmies only saw predator footprints. Besides which, modern bonsai bears probably don't have the capacity to take down a fully grown melter. Nature's maniac. An unnamed New York Times correspondent threatens Australian wildlife. And with an Australian critter update, kangaroos are loose near Toulouse. Vandals have set 15 kangaroos from an Australian theme park in southern France, sparking a major search operation. It's a campaign for hop and change. And I've got a YouTube link there for car chat. Andy Richter deals with a Prius owner and a Prius. Who's got the kids? Asks Tim Blair. Marijuana is supposed to destroy memories, but in this case it added memories of an event that never occurred. A man so muddled by years of marijuana dependency believed he was married to his former flatmate for nearly a decade, a mistake that threatened to derail his wedding to a new partner. The man, 38, planned to marry this month but was unable to find the papers to prove the marriage celebrant he was not still married to his previous partner, which she required because he had listed his marital status as divorced. The stoner's confusion was later explained. In 2003, the flatmate gave him a document to sign which he believed was their divorce papers. It was not until he contacted his former flatmate for proof of their divorce that she told him that it was a residential tenancy agreement. Cycles of violence. Sydney's bikie gangs, essentially rival amphetamine manufacturers, their motorcycles are incidental, put on a floor show at Sydney Airport. Gang wars tend to be self-solving in the sense that the various idiots kill each other. They're not usually this public, however. And from Andrew Bolt hiding row, it seems the Rudd government is lavishing resources on Cornelia Rao, the woman Labour used to pillory John Howard for alleged cruelty, to keep her not just out of trouble, but out of the media. Do any other sufferers of schizophrenia get this kind of taxpayer-funded care as they wander the world? Einfeld honestly lied. Marcus Einfeld shows all the self-insight and concern for evidence that made him the kind of judge he was. I don't think I'm the slightest bit dishonest, he says. Of course not. Sure, he may have lied several times about not driving cars, caught speeding, and lied about the people driving them, but those were just mistakes. Honest ones, you know? It's war between the gangs. Time to declare war on our bikie gangs when they can turn even our airports into a battlefield. The 28-year-old Sydney man was killed in the presence of his brother, a Hells Angel motorcycle gang member, also from Sydney. Repeating our past disasters, where's the money coming from? The Royal Commissioner who exposed how South Australian government buried itself in debt in the 1990s has spoken out against the heavy federal deficit Kevin Rudd will take on to stave off the effects of the recession. The last defense of Rudd's foolishness may be true, but don't forget that people screaming the "do something" line loudest are Rudd and his team themselves, who are cynically flaying the Liberals as the do-nothing alternative. They are not so much as being pushed into a disaster, but pushing. The Manchurian candidate, Kevin Rudd, has pledged to work for a communist regime, which he says should have more influence on the world. Kevin Rudd is proposing an ambitious overhaul of the world economic order, pushing for China to be given a more central role in the International Monetary Fund, in a move that threatens to divide the Group of 20 and anger Europe. On SBS TV last night, Rudd's comment was that Belgium had similar voting laws as China did. Well, okay then, let China rule the world. Economic Hardship, 10 Ways Faith Responds by Bill Shuler, who's the pastor, Capital Life Church, Arlington, Virginia. 1. Faith feeds hope and starves fear. 2. Faith shapes a future, whereas economists can only predict if they're lucky. 3. Faith believes in a retirement that means more than a gold watch and a rocking chair. 4. Faith gives thanks in all things. 5. Faith looks for a future beyond social security, beyond even life expectancy. 6. Faith reaches out to meet the needs of others. 7. Faith sows seeds today for tomorrow's harvest. 8. Faith chooses a good name over riches. 9. Faith aims high, steps forward, and doesn't look back. And 10. Faith reminds us who is really in charge. Jesus said, "Who of you by worrying can add a single hour to his life?" Scripture tells us that faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. In these challenging times, it is comforting to know that certainty begins with faith.